Have you ever asked an AI like ChatGPT about something that happened like yesterday and wondered, wait, how does it know that? Wasn't it trained years ago? Well, today we're going to dive into the really clever trick that gives AI a real-time brain.
So how in the world do these AI models, these large language models, or LLMs, seem so darn intelligent? It really feels like they have a mind of their own sometimes, doesn't it?
You might be picturing some wildly complex, almost magical process happening behind the scenes.
But the secret, the absolute core of how it all works, is surprisingly simple. At the end of the day, these massive AI systems are just incredibly good at predicting the next word. Okay, so let's really break down this trick, next token prediction. Now, technically, a token is just a piece of a word, but honestly, for our purposes, just think of it as a word. It makes things way easier.
Think about it like this. When your brain hears the phrase, "the cat sat on the," it just instinctively knows a word like mat is probably coming next. An LLM does the exact same thing. But instead of just thinking, it's running a massive calculation based on all the text it's ever read to guess what comes next.
And here's the really cool part. The model doesn't just lock onto one single word. It actually calculates the odds for lots of possible words. So mat might have a 60% chance, but floor could be 30%, and chair maybe 10%. This is why when you hit that regenerate response button, you get a slightly different answer. The AI is just picking another one of its high probability paths.
But this brilliant system has a huge flaw, a real Achilles heel that creates a major problem. You see, an LLM's knowledge is basically frozen in time. If its training data only goes up to, say, 2023, it has absolutely no clue what happened last night. It's like asking a history book from last year to tell you today's news. It just can't.
So the obvious question you're probably asking is, well, why not just give it the new info? Just feed it the latest news. Seems simple enough, right? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Every single LLM has this thing called a context window. Think of it like it's short-term memory. It's the maximum amount of information it can look at in one single go. For a really powerful model like GPT-4, that limit is about 128,000 tokens.
And to put that number into perspective, 128,000 tokens is roughly a 400-page book. Now, that sounds like a lot, right? But compared to the sheer volume of information on the internet, it's just a tiny drop in the ocean. You can't just stuff it all in.
Okay, so what about the other option? Just retrain the entire model from scratch with all the new data. Well, that process is ridiculously expensive and takes forever. We're talking millions of dollars and weeks, if not months, of computing time. There has to be a smarter way to do this.
And this is where the hero of our story comes in. It's a technique called RAG.
RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. And it's a really clever approach because it doesn't try to change the LLM's brain. Instead, it just gives the LLM a little cheat sheet with fresh, relevant information right when it needs it. To really, truly get your head around this powerful idea, let's use a super simple analogy, a floor plan. Just think about this for a second. An LLM has no idea about your specific house. It's an impossible question for it to answer. But what if you first gave it the floor plan? You give it the context it needs. Well, then the question suddenly becomes incredibly easy.
And that's exactly what RAG does. It takes an impossible query and makes it simple. It finds the floor plan, the relevant up-to-date documents, and basically staples it to your original question before sending it off to the LLM.
So here's how that process works in 4 simple steps. First, you ask your question. Then, the RAG system zips off and retrieves the most relevant info from a live database. Third, and this is the key part, it augments your original question with all this new info, creating a sort of supercharged prompt. And finally, the LLM takes this rich new prompt and generates a great answer.
Okay, this all sounds cool in theory, but why does it matter? Let's take a look at how RAG is already showing up in the real world.
The benefits here are huge. With RAG, AI answers are way more accurate because they're based on current facts. They're always up to date. Plus, and this is a big one, they're more explainable because the AI can literally show you its sources. And for companies, it's incredibly cost-effective because they don't have to keep retraining these monster models. And believe me, this isn't just a theory. You're probably using it every day. When Google's AI search gives you an answer about something that just happened, that's RAG. When an AI code editor like Cursor instantly understands your entire project, yep, that's RAG. And when a legal AI like Harvey can pull up the perfect case law in seconds, you guessed it, RAG is the magic behind it.
So RAG is quietly revolutionizing AI, making it smarter, more reliable, and way more connected to our world. It's the simple trick that gives AI a real-time brain. And that leaves us with this huge, kind of mind-blowing question. What happens when every single piece of software we use has perfect, real-time knowledge? The possibilities are just staggering. Thanks for tuning in.